I'm gonna record all the shit that we just did. So resources, gear. We got. Okay, so that's development. Do you want to make? Do you have any input Monster Tooth Necklace related, Corey? Is Corey even still there?
Uh, not especially enough for it to argue either.
Yeah, I mean, +1 strength in the short term is +1 strength all the time is actually really good. And I don't know that we have a better use of the bone. Um, the bone is used. We need if we want to do if we want to do well, we need 3 bones to make the weapon crafter eventually, which would give us the better cool weapons, and we need 1 bone as part of the screaming armor if we want to make that eventually, which is from the stone circle. Otherwise, we don't have a whole lot of use for bone except for innovating right now. So I don't know. I'll leave that up to you, Panther. If you want to make that, go ahead. If not,
Nah.
we also have. Okay, so we have 2 remaining survival. Fancher, your character's a matchmaker, right? So we
Yeah.
get 1 thing of intimacy for free. So do you want to do intimacy real quick? We are at 13 population, which means that should we manage to get to 15, if we get to 15 population, we get to do our society principle, which gives us just like another principle card, which can give us some bonuses and shit as well. So it's kind of good to get that if we.
Okay. So I just roll a d10, right?
Yeah. You roll 2d10 actually. So you get
Okay.
to roll it twice.
Crit. And a 9.
So you rolled a 9 and a 10.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So we're gonna get newborns, a pair of them, which puts us up to 15 population, which is exactly what we wanted. And then 15. Did we get anything else good? Just 2 population, perfect. And we get just another. So I don't know if you guys looked at the settlement sheet, but instead of having male and female, they have the symbol for male and female. I actually don't know which one is which, so I just put in the M's and the F's. I was like, that's the thing I've never done. Like, if I go to like a bar, like if I go to a bar and that's like they use those symbols to like denote which bathroom is which. There's like a solid 85% chance I take a piss in the women's bathroom. Like,
It's okay, I'm the
I
same
don't
way,
fucking
dude.
know.
I like think I remember. Like I think the
Just that-
circle with the plus is the female.
It is.
Okay.
Oh, see, I thought it was. I just looked at it. I thought it was the other way. I was like, I think that's the dude one.
No.
Because the one with the arrow is the
It's-
penis.
So I'm like trying to. It seem worthwhile to pick a new survivor for the bow, or just keep the guy I've got and just sort of work with the broken arm for the time.
I mean, the broken arm makes it harder to hit and harder to wound, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you lose an accuracy and your strength.
Yeah, if that was me, I would basically just leave that guy at home. Like, we can just nominate him, because if that dude dies, not a big deal, right? Like, he doesn't really have anything that good, does he? It's just, he's just got
Right,
age.
like
Yeah,
Oh.
and age is not super that important. Like, these people are going to age out and die eventually anyways, so having new survivors do stuff, not a big deal. I would just, like, we can nominate him to breed from now on with my warped pelvis intestinal prolapse survivor. Okay. So we just did that. So we're gonna get to do our our conviction principle. False, our society principle.
So,
And we go ahead.
so because I rolled the 2 ones, we got 4 people, right? Or is it just
No,
the higher of the
you
2?
roll 2 higher. Well, no, you just get to pick. You get to pick.
Oh.
So you can pick the lower. like if we had Hovel developed, that 10 would have gotten us a savior instead of instead of 2 newborns. And say if we really wanted to hit Principal Society with our 15
Right.
population, we could have just been like, we don't really want a savior. We'd rather have 2 people. If our population was low, we'd be like, yeah, we don't really want a savior. Saviors
Okay.
age 4 years at a time, so they like leave your settlement really fast.
Oh,
They're pretty
wow.
sweet while they're there. So we've got 2 options. We've got Accept Darkness and
The settlement no
Eat a
longer
sandwich, I
fears the
assume.
darkness.
Collective
Letting go
toil.
means you resolve cannot be
Um,
cracked. Your settlement leans into the storm. If everyone holds strong, you will triumph at the start of the settlement phase. Gain +1.
so Accept Darkness is going to basically give us +2 to all brain trauma rolls. Whereas Collective Toil will give us +1 for every population, or for every 10 population. To put that into perspective, we may at some point break 20 population if we really try really hard with our endeavors to do that, which would give us +2 endeavors every time we come home, which is
Pretty huge.
pretty cool. But that's going to require us to stay over 20 population. If we ever fall below 10 population, it does nothing for us.
Mm.
Whereas if you look at the severe injuries table, I mean, scrolling worked, you would totally look at it. I don't understand what's happening here.
So the survivor
Brown
with 5
pages.
bleeding tokens is dead.
What?
That's what it says.
That is always the case.
Ah, okay.
No, if you look at the brain trauma table,
Okay.
the only way to die on the brain trauma table, well, if you already have 3 disorders and you roll a 12 somehow, but the only way to straight up die is to roll a 1 or 2. So Accept Darkness makes it impossible to die on a brain trauma roll. Directly from the roll. Everything else, like, if you danger seizure and you gain, and the 1 damage from that could potentially kill you. But everything else, I mean, yeah, that's the only way that you can outright die to brain trauma is by rolling a 1 or a 2. Accept Darkness makes that impossible. So Accept Darkness is safer. Collective Toil, if bad things aren't happening in terms of rolling brain trauma, Collective Toil gives you more benefit. Like,
So, I mean, we could always do Accept Darkness and then just do another Antelope Hunt, considering it seemed like we were taking a lot of brain.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, we could. It doesn't.
Well, I guess the problem is that so much of that was just like you got disorders straight up with that trap card, so it didn't really matter in that case.
Yeah, I didn't remember that you got disorders from the trap card. That was a surprise to me. I don't think Accept Darkness necessarily makes doing the Antelope Hunt a better idea. I think being able to better injure the antelope is going to be the thing. Like, just wounding it faster and killing it faster is going to be what makes that a better fight. That way we're less, like, we hit less trap cards, and there are less opportunities for ticks to make the thing go on longer and all that shit. So we might just be a little bit shy of weapons for that to be something we want to do consistently. Again, I think Accept Darkness is safer. Collective Toil has more upside, potentially. If somebody dies because we didn't have Accept Darkness, we're going to get 2 endeavors from Graves, which is going to give us the opportunity to have more intimacy, as well as if our population is above 10, for every 10 population, we're going to get endeavor from Collective Toil, which is
I'd say let's
opportunity.
just do Collective Toil. I mean, I guess I don't know enough about the game to know how much. And like you said, I mean, you'd have to roll a 1 or a 2.
Yeah,
We saw that. Yeah, it's possible.
it is definitely possible. 20% of the time, someone's gonna die to brain trauma without Accept Darkness. 0% of the time, someone's gonna die to brain trauma with Accept Darkness. So I mean, yeah. I think Collective Toil has more upside in terms of your ability to, and I think the way we're set up with Graves and Protect the Young, like our intimacy options are pretty good. We have a matchmaker right now, which is really nice. As long as Fancher doesn't die for a while, we get free. We get, you know, it costs us an endeavor, but we definitely get intimacy instead of having to roll on a table to determine if our people can figure out how to procreate.
Right.
So, but I mean, we're not guaranteed to always have a matchmaker, which makes that more difficult. I don't know. So really, again, I think all of these things are toss-ups and intended to be, except for Protect the Young and Survival of the Fittest, which is pretty clearly like Survival of the Fittest is hard mode, but you get an extra strength for doing it, basically. Whereas Protect the Young is like, hey,
We didn't
maybe
do
you can have a
survival of the
population.
fittest, correct?
No, we did Protect the Young. That's like our
The discard.
discard. Yeah, that I just I mean I could turn them face down if that's
No, it's cool. I was just making.
yeah, just because it puts the all of the consequence cards are in the innovation deck, so the more shit I can take out of it, the less time it takes me to find the Lantern of Inconsequences, which I have to do right now.
Cool.
Do you care between Accept Darkness and Collective Toil, Fancher?
I don't really have a preference. They both seem to kind of have their benefits.
Alright, we'll collectively toil.
Cool.
And then because we chose that, something. Why can't I see the fucking shit anymore? Let's find the bookmarks. Here we go. Story events, principles, society. Collective Toil. Tainted by darkness, a survivor nearly brought ruin to the settlement. On the day of her exile, the people decided that all must spend equal time hunting and working to avoid future disasters. -1 population. Add Bone Witch to the timeline 3 years from now. So, settlement timeline. Year 6. Bone Witch. I'm gonna capitalize Phoenix.
I was about to do the same thing.
Motherfuckers. It wasn't capitalized in the quarry list earlier either, and I fixed it there. And then the Settlement Gain Society Principle, Collective Toil, find and place a card on blah blah blah. After ending card, roll 1d10. Somebody want to roll 1d10 real quick?
Go for it, Corey.
Find a D10. Let's go with a 2.
2. You can nominate up to 4 survivors. Each will gain +5 survival.
Damn.
So, my suggestion would be that we just put 5 survival on random unnamed survivors for the moment, because our survival limit is 2. So when we depart, we can only have 2 survival, and we get 2 survival for departing. So
Yeah.
we can't really make use of it, and I'm not 100% sure how legal it is to like.
Didn't we have to kill off a survivor?
Yep. So we're gonna go down to 14 population.
Darn.
That was the guy I wanted to play.
What?
If I can find our population.
I said that was the guy I wanted to play next.
There's the dead guy.
the dead guy. You guys fucking killed me again.
Again.